Hi guys, I just thought I'd do up a quick video on the Bark 4 TBS Mini and the RX-18 in my latest tank that I've built, which is a Fury. T6a is an inexpensive radio from Hobby King. It's less than $30, 2.4 gigahertz technology, 6 channels, very capable radio, programmable. You plug it into your computer and you have full access for endpoint adjustments, throttle curves, you name it. Downside is you don't have throttle reverse, or you don't have servo reverse controls right on the front face of the radio to make it easy. So you do have to set your throttles up, or set the radio up at a computer. I set up all my tanks exactly the same though, so for me, once the radio's set up the one time, I never plug it in again. So I've added a few buttons on here just to make it simpler, make it more of a tank controller. One thing people like is an ignition switch, so I got one of those. I guess I got to turn the radio on first. Hit the ignition switch. Tank fires up. Now on the Bark 4, you can turn the sound of the engine off and still have all the other functions. So for this demonstration, I've got it programmed in so straight down will turn the engine off. So the engine's off, but you still have control. So you've got the turret controls, left and right. Cannon elevation is through this knob on the T6a. No special wiring here. This is just a feature of the T6a. The servo plugs right into your receiver, and you have direct control over it, up and down, and then it stays put. So if you had the elevation on a spring return throttle stick, or a stick, of course, every time you let go, the barrel would want to go back to neutral. Having it on this knob, it just stays put. Machine gun is activated by pushing the button on the top of the radio here. Cannon fire is this front-facing button here. Sometimes, because the Bark 4 has all these end-pointed, or all these trigger points, there's a little interference between channels. And then if you have that, you got to dial out the trims a bit on your throttle, and then that'll take that out of there. So it takes, you just got to find the sweet spot. Once you find it, it's good. That's pretty much it for the radio. This has got other triggers set in here for, it can either be voice commands or lights. For the headlights on the tank, to turn them on, it's full up. And it acts like a toggle, so full up again turns them off. Brad Pitt's voice is in this lower southwest corner.
I promised my crew a long time ago I'd keep them alive. I promised my crew a long time ago I'd keep them alive.
And then there's a little soundtrack from Fury in here as well.
Alright! Take that son of a bitch! Do your job! Do what you're here for!
And to start the tank, it's just straight down. Also, to mimic the full up on the throttle, I wired this button in here too, so you can turn the headlights on by pushing this button. And you could do that for every stick position here. You could have a row of buttons and just, you know, you could have a separate button for each thing that you wanted. But for me, it was just the cannon and the machine gun and the ignition were the ones that were key to me. The other ones, just finding them on the throttle stick's not that big of a deal. So that's it. Again, a great radio for tanks, 30 bucks. It's cheaper than the proprietary radios you get from the tank manufacturers. And it's a hobby grade radio. It uses standard servo signals, lots of third-party equipment you can add onto it, servo reversers, speed control, servo speed controllers. You buy those from Hobby King as well, and you can do all kinds of things with your tank that you just can't do with those proprietary radios. So I really strongly suggest people give this an option. Hobby King also has another radio one step up from this. And it's more like the Spectrum D6i, where it's got LCD screen, and you can store up to 20 tanks in there. It's got the buttons here too for knobs on here for cannon elevation and that kind of thing, so that's great. And that radio is only about $50, so really good radios for tanks. These things aren't flying in the air at 200 miles an hour. They're on the ground, they're traveling at 3 miles an hour, so you can't get yourself in too much trouble with a cheap radio. So I think it's overkill spending a whole bunch of money on a radio. Just not required for tanks. So do yourself a favor, have a look and see what Hobby King's selling there. I've used them and they're great radios. I swear by them. So yeah, that's about it, guys. Just showing you what you can do with a cheap radio. Make it a little easier to operate it. Make it more of a tank controller than just a radio. So thanks for watching. Hopefully that gives you guys some ideas. Thanks.